Thanks for joining us for another edition of The Small Business Show with Jim Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN.com.
Hey everyone, I'm Jim Fitzpatrick. Thanks so much for watching another edition of the Small Business Show right here at ASBN.com. Are you thinking about owning your own business? Buying an existing business or even a franchise could be the smarter move for you. Today we are joined by Melinda Emerson, who's America's #1 small business expert, author, and the CEO of Quintessence Group, to walk us through some of the pros and cons and key considerations when thinking about buying a franchise or buying a business that's already existing. So thank you so much, Melinda, for taking the time out of your busy schedule there, helping small businesses all over America. So we're happy to have you on the show.
Oh, I'm always happy to hang out with you, Jim.
So let's first talk about the key advantages of buying an established business. There's so many people, as you know, that are looking to retire. I think they say that there's 10,000 baby boomers that retire in the country every day, which blows me away. But a lot of those are business owners that have businesses to sell, right?
100%, 40% of existing entrepreneurs. First of all, the average small business owner in the United States is 49 years old and has 4 employees. Okay. So now the group of people that started these businesses 20 years ago, they're ready to hang it up. They want out, they want to cash out and roll out. And so what's really exciting is 40% of businesses in America are going to change hands in the next 5 years. Wow. So that's inventory.
That's huge.
Huge. Yeah. If their kids don't want it, if they don't have a key employee they can sell it to,
that's right.
It's just out here hanging. So one of the things that I think I want entrepreneurs to think about is this. Banks do not loan money to start up businesses, but guess who they do loan money to? Businesses that already have revenue.
That's right. So, that's right. That's right. And inventory and customers and the whole deal.
Yeah, if you got customers, you got long-term contracts, you got some employees, a bank will loan you money for that. There are programs that banks specifically have for people that want to buy businesses.
That's right.
Conversely, if you're interested in buying a franchise, you can absolutely borrow money to buy a franchise business. There's specific franchise companies that just do the financing for franchise deals.
That's right.
It's and what I love about both of these kind of businesses is, yes, you do have to learn how to run a business, but it's a lot harder when you got a success path ahead of you, right? What do they say? Success leaves clues. So if you have a proven track record, turnkey systems, SOPs already developed, you don't have to invent or operationalize an original idea. Buy a business that has growth potential. Now, don't buy a business that's sinking or the technology is about to take that business out. You got to do your due diligence.
Yeah,
you
of course.
Look at what industries are hot. But let me tell you something. The 5 areas in franchising that are growing like gangbusters: health and wellness business, education and training businesses, elder care businesses, pet care businesses. Last but certainly not least, food-based franchises are also doing extremely well and growing. There's a lot of competition, but there's a lot of opportunity too, right? So you really have to think about, what expertise you have and how you need to upskill yourself. But all franchises, for example, come with training. One of the things you can do if you buy an existing business, though, is you can make the owners of that business stay on 2 to 3 years to help you, right? You don't
no question.
let somebody throw you the keys and then walk out, right? That's not it. You need to make sure that they transition those relationships that they've had for years, those contracts. You want to make sure a couple of things. Number one, you know why the people are selling. You want to make sure you know. And then thoroughly investigate that. The second thing you want to know is, does the business have any debt? Because you're not just buying the business, you got to buy everything that comes with the business. So you need to find out what kind of debt is the business holding.
That's right.
And third, what is the up potential? If the business is doing 5 million, what's your plan to get it to 15, right? You've got to figure all these things out before you can figure out if a deal is the right deal for you.
No question. And I might add that while there's companies out there that will finance, as you mentioned, there's also owner financing. A friend of mine literally put $5,000 down on a business, okay? It happened to be a dry cleaning business, okay? And the business was doing just under $200,000 a year net profit. But the owners, because of sickness in their family, they needed to either sell the business or close the business, okay? Well, they couldn't sell the business. They had it on the market. They just didn't have any takers. So my buddy walks in with $5,000 cash and a promissory note to pay them X number of dollars a month out of the proceeds of the business, okay? And bought that business and now has 3 dry cleaners, okay? So,
and that's exactly right. I mean, there's so many deals to be had, but literally as little as $10,000 to $50,000. And you guys that have 401ks out here, y'all been working for people for 20 years. You can go and legitimately, without penalty, take money out of your 401k and roll it into a business purchase or a franchise purchase, and then finance the rest through an SBA guarantee.
Melinda, let me ask you, for the people that are watching that are interested in doing just that, where's a good place to start to look for businesses that are for sale? I would imagine there's business brokers, obviously, that might be a good place, right? Is there any place else, or is there any website?
There's absolutely business brokers. There's also marketplaces. But here's the thing: the best deals aren't going to get found there. Not where the best deals are. If there is a business in your neighborhood that you love to go to, talk to the owners, because usually it can take a year to 24 months before somebody's really ready to turn the keys over. So it's not the day you meet me. I mean, it's almost like dating and marriage, right? I see this cute guy in the club. I'm not marrying him tomorrow, right? I got to date him. I got to check him out. I got to find out who his people are and what his credit score is, right? You know, so it's the same thing. And the other thing that you have to do if you're interested in buying a business is turn yourself into a qualified buyer. Right.
Good point.
So there's stuff you got to make sure that you can get through the screening to borrow the money.
That's right.
So it might be cleaning up your credit a little bit. It might be getting rid of those pesky credit cards. Like the things that you need to do to make yourself, you know, the buyer that sellers want. That is something
bringing even your personal expenses down. Don't go out and load up your credit cards or buy new boats or cars or anything else thinking that, why am I doing this if I'm also going to be looking to acquire a business?
No, because it's going to take a little bit of ramp up time. But the beautiful thing about borrowing money to buy an existing business is you will then have money to pay the loan, right? You know, the business is running. You can use the proceeds of the business to actually pay for the loan you use to buy the business.
That's true.
And that is something that, you know, if you just start with an idea, you got your idea until you get you some customers.
That's right.
And there's a whole learning curve to that. And that could be 12 to 18 months before you really figure out what your business model is. And usually that steady cash flow doesn't really start till between year 3 and 4. So if you're already in your 50s, you ain't got that kind of time to figure it out. You ain't got figure it out time. You need more reliable, sure thing. And the greatest thing about is, for example, if you're going to buy a franchise, you can go to the franchisor and find out how good this franchise operates. Like, is it in the top 10%? Is it in the middle? Is it in the lower 10%? And what it would take to help it grow. Plus, if you would buy an existing franchise, you can get that for a deal. Because they want somebody new to take over that territory and build out that. Because the franchisor don't make money if you ain't making none.
That's
so
right.
They'll help you. So there's lots of ways to skin this cat. What I want is for people to get over the fear. Like they think, oh my God, to buy a business, I got to have $2 million. No, you don't.
That's right.
No, you don't.
That's right. You have to have
some resources.
That's right.
But you don't even have to have a third of the resources.
And you'll run out of stamina before you run out of franchises to look at, right?
That's it, because there's over 4,000 franchise concepts in the United States.
That's right.
And you know, whenever people think about franchises, Lord, they think about McDonald's. That's the first thing they think of.
Right.
But you guys, only 1/3 of franchises are food. There's service-based franchises.
Of course, yeah.
There's professional services.
There's a franchise almost for everything that you could possibly think of, right? Yeah.
Everything you can think of. I recently learned about this franchise called Diva Dance. So it is a adult dance school, and basically they throw parties, they serve champagne, you come bachelorette, they even have Beyonce dance classes. I mean, like, you want to learn all of Beyonce's choreography. I mean, like, literally there's just all of
There is.
these different franchises, tanning, makeup, I
Yeah.
mean, you name it.
That's right.
So
That's right.
boys in Philly, I got to shout out my Philly folks, but I mean, there's so many different kinds of franchises out here. You can find one for your budget. You can also find one for your expertise.
Yeah, for sure.
But the thing you got to make sure is that you're ready to run a business, because you're going to have to learn some stuff.
That's right.
You worked in HR, okay, there's actually HR franchises. But here's what I also want to throw out, and Jim, you and I were talking about this before we started taping today. 95% of people don't buy franchises in their expertise. They
That's
buy
right.
it in something else. But the point that I want to say is, if you are somebody 40 plus, I want you to think about buying a business, not starting one from scratch.
I agree. It's great advice. There's no question. I can't say enough about both the franchising, and if franchising is not right for you, looking into buying an existing business that's ongoing. It takes out all of the aggravation in trying to find, your niche, or to find a market out there for whatever it is that you're going to be doing. And also, I would say, Melinda, see if you agree with me here, keep an open mind, whether it be a franchise you're looking at or a business. You touched on earlier about 95% of the people that buy a franchise isn't in the area of expertise that they're used to or that they've been in. So keep an open mind. Just because you don't like dogs doesn't mean you can't make $1 million, in the dog food business or the dog walking business or the pet supply business or whatever. Don't think in terms of that. Think in terms of money and business rather than, well, no, I don't really like to travel, so therefore I don't want to be a travel agent, okay? You don't have to travel to be a travel agent, okay? So you don't have to do any of these things in order to make money at them. So would you agree to keep an open mind about the business you're going into?
I definitely think you need to keep an open mind, but here's what I also think. You need to be honest about what you're willing to learn and whether or not running a business is even for you.
That's right.
I think that what I don't want, and I have seen this, is people buy franchises and then 2 years later I bump into them and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad to be back in corporate America. I bought this Rita's Water Ice and I don't have any kids and all my doggone employees were teenagers and I hate teenagers and like I couldn't wait to sell that thing. Or I have another friend that bought a nothing but cake business and she lasted 2 years. She had to get rotator cuff surgery. She said she was picking up 50-pound bags of sugar and dragging them in the back door. She said, Melinda, I didn't know. I said, well, you went from being a knowledge worker to being a 6-day-a-week retailer. 7 to 7. I said, you got to understand how your lifestyle is going to change depending on the business that you want to run.
That's right.
And so
that's right.
I think you got to be realistic. You got to talk to some existing franchisees.
Agreed.
You got to go taste and see before you buy.
That's right. And just as important to talk to existing franchises, talk to the ones that went out and ask them what kind of support you got from the franchisor and what were some of the pitfalls that they saw. And by the way, the franchise company has to disclose the franchises that went out under the FTC agreement or the prospectus that they send you. So don't think that there isn't gold in there. So if you're thinking about it, by the way, we're not selling you off franchise, we're selling you on it, but we're telling you the key steps to take about this. Talk to those business owners and find out, you bought the franchise, you spent the money, what happened? Fill in the blank.
Right. Definitely. But I think it's a wonderful opportunity. I'm so tired of people getting stressed out and having all this fear around applying for jobs. Don't keep applying for these jobs you don't even want. Buy a business.
That's
Buy
right.
a business. Let the small business lady show you how
right.
to be a success in business, because you still have to think about your own personal, you know what I mean? You've got to think about what you're doing and the skills that you have, but you can rock it if you really could create amazing generation of wealth for yourself and your families if you do this thing the right way.
I agree. Melinda Emerson, this is why we have you on all the time, because you're awesome. America's #1 small business expert, CEO of Quintessence Group, and best-selling author and phenomenal speaker, all-around great person. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Jim.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining us for another edition of The Small Business Show with Jim Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN.com.